TMZ received yet another message just yesterday from someone claiming to know the identity of the kidnapper. There's also some new video, as you can see right here on your screen. This is just a post from TMZ that says new video of a man with a similar backpack recorded just before Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping. I do want to bring in a great friend of the show here. We have Michael Babcock over at TMZ joining us to discuss much more about all of these developments. Michael, thank you so much, as always, for being here.
Good morning, Josh. Of course, thank you for having me.
Of course. And first off, want to start by talking to you about that video. We're not going to show it here just yet, but kind of explain to me the relevance there, because I know it is on the FBI's radar.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something they are looking into as they desperately try and track down video that might be relevant to what happened that night and the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. There is a video that was from about 5 miles away, Josh, a home 5 miles away, that was taken at 1:53 a.m. Just 19 minutes, to be precise, before somebody ultimately walked up to Nancy Guthrie's porch, and obviously we know what happened next. So this person is not wearing a mask in the video from 5 miles away. So there is perhaps some more information that can be gathered here. They're looking into it. They are very well aware of it. The FBI has it, and it's absolutely part of the investigation right now.
Wanted to ask you a little bit more about this new note that was received. I believe it was just yesterday by TMZ. There was, of course, a ransom note several days ago. Then you have another email, I believe, that comes in, and then another one. So kind of tell me what you can about that email.
Yeah, it was different than the original note that was from not this Tuesday, Josh, from the Tuesday before. That was a true ransom note. Somebody saying, hey, I have taken Nancy Guthrie, and this is what it's going to take to return her. The messages we've got this week, and it was Wednesday and Thursday morning, Josh, were somebody essentially saying, I have the identity of the kidnapper or of the abductors, and for the cost of 1 Bitcoin, I will turn that information over. So they write on Wednesday to us at 4:54 a.m. to be exact, I believe it was, and they say, okay, here, they pay me the Bitcoin, and we'll let you know who the person is. The next day they say, hey, look, this is my second and final attempt to help. And they phrased it like that, as if they were helping. And they said, this is, again, what it's going to cost. And I know the person, but essentially, you better hurry up. And it was a very ominous in feel, but more ominous than the first one. And obviously it's cause for concern. I will say a Bitcoin is like $65,000, $66,000, $67,000. The FBI has obviously raised the reward here to $100,000. So rather than having to, if this is a legitimate note, rather than having to go and try and get the cost of a Bitcoin, you go to the FBI, you get $100,000. It's more money.
Yeah. And is there anything to gauge from the fact that they did double this reward? Because essentially it was 50,000. Now it's 100,000. We don't have any idea what's necessarily going on behind the scenes. But is there anything to gauge from that?
I don't think there is. I mean, there may be. I don't think there's anything to indicate that there's a reason to be troubled over it. But I think it also goes to show the desperation here, not just from the Guthrie family, but from law enforcement. I mean, everybody is well aware that she is now missing for, since Sunday, early Sunday, last Sunday morning. So we're well over a week. We're approaching 2 full weeks here. And I think understanding, Josh, that she's 84 years old, that she's not in the greatest of physical health, you feel like you don't have all the time here. So she needs to come home, and she needs to come home now. And I think it's probably as simple as that being the reason.
One thing that's also been interesting here is we've heard about this potential rift between the Pima County Sheriff's Office there and the FBI. We know the FBI was not called in initially, and we're also hearing now that it does potentially appear that the FBI only got involved after they asked to get involved. So what do we know about this rift here?
Yeah, and there are also reports that they are sparring or sort of, in conflict over how evidence is handled, and specifically these gloves that were found about 1.5 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home, which, if there was DNA inside of those gloves that was left there by the perpetrator, I mean, how how huge could that be for this investigation? It could be quite literally the one piece of evidence that breaks this whole thing open. And to hear that there is this, again, rift between the sheriff's office and the sheriff specifically with the FBI, and that they want to send the evidence, the way the story goes, to a private lab in Florida. Meanwhile, the FBI wants to send it to their people in Quantico because they feel like, hey, we're the best at this and we've got the most experience. Let us handle it. And, that's not what anybody needs right now, obviously, to have the FBI and the sheriff's office fighting with one another. That certainly doesn't help get Nancy Guthrie home and find the people who are person responsible for this crime. So if it's happening, yeah, you hope it stops, and you hope it stops immediately.
Definitely. Michael Babcock there at TMZ. Thank you so much for being here as always and helping to break it down. I'm sure we'll be in touch here as we see these different developments. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me, Josh.